Hotline Miami is a game that seems fully devoted to quick, razor-sharp, Twitch-based gameplay. It doesn't concern itself with narrative focus, and it doesn't expect you to either. The game starts as it means to go on. After the tutorial and a truly eyebrow-ejecting opening scene, your character stands in his musty, broken apartment. You receive a cryptic phone call shrouded with a thinly veiled metaphor and an address. You walk to your car, travel to the stated address, put on your mask of choice, and go to work. Once the mask is donned, your only goal is to murder everything with a heartbeat. And bright neon flashes, quick pumping music, massive amounts of blood, and a scoreboard complete with a combo mechanic urges you to kill faster and more brazenly. Once a series of floors are accomplished, you get back in your stylish car and head off to do it again, after which the player is graded on a number of things such as speed, style, and variation, further instilling this game's run-and-gun or grip-and-rip feel. And all of this completely without repercussion. Even your character's death is nothing more than just a fleeting distraction, as failing an assault usually results in mashing the restart button before your character's body even hits the floor. The game is built from the ground up to be lightning quick and laser precise. When your character ends up battered and broken after one crack of a baseball bat or a handgun, you know what you did wrong and how to go about fixing it. Close in, swing first, or bait the first shot, then go for the jugular. If you failed, it's because you weren't fast enough or smart enough. But you can get it this time. Just one more try. After the missions, the characters will find themselves in a supermarket or a movie store or a bar, where you are given free goods by the same shady character that seems to work in each place the protagonist visits. This character's disposition flickering indeterminately between being your best friend and barely knowing you. And this slow, seemingly vacuous scene sets up to clue the player into more surreal nature of these events. After you kill everyone on each level, the heavy, pumping, adrenaline-choked club music gives way to sombering minor chords and heavy dissonance as you wade through broken and destroyed bodies on the way to the exit. A scene that's as uncomfortable to look at as it is to listen to. The game goes on, and the surreal overpowers reality. Everything the game establishes is altered beyond recognition. No more shady supermarket guy, dead bodies start talking to you, multiple completely contradictory and fallacious accounts of the same events. The impossible supplants the logical in all ways except one: the mechanics. The game lunges you further into decisive, light-speed violence, despite the fact that your character's grip on reality has already broken with an audible snap. And this is what Hotline Miami does so well. The game willfully urges you forward with every facet of its design, offering no time for thought during its overly violent gameplay, and then repeatedly requiring abundant need for reflection through pause and the uncertainty of its narrative. Hotline Miami explores events and ideas that blatantly overlap and challenge each other in impossible ways to create a narrative context that is jarring in its stark contrast. Because despite its neon, pulsing image, Hotline Miami is not a game about violence. It's a game about wading through the bodies of so many victims you killed for no other reason than someone on the other end of a phone gave you an address. This War of Mine, however, is a game almost pure in its dependence on player reflection and evaluation. If choice is what makes a game, then this might be the most gamey game you've ever played. You start off in a house all but destroyed by the war raging around the 3 civilians that you're meant to control. Every day is spent using and controlling resources to survive, and every night is spent allocating resources and survivors to either sleep, scavenge, or guard. The game presents you with a number of challenges, but allows, and indeed requires, your careful assessment as to how to proceed with almost every moment in these people's lives. Not only deciding who's going to sleep on any given night, but where they are going to sleep is a nuanced mental struggle about weighing risk versus reward, because survival is a brutal and desperate fight, where you will certainly fail far more often than you'll ever win. But where other survival games are about how far you can get, this War of Mine is about the journey rather than the destination. It truly cares about the stories it generates and the feelings it evokes more than something as arbitrary as winning. It wants you to answer these challenges, sure, but what it's most concerned with is why you answered them the way that you did. You might be looking on powerless as a father begs you for medicine for his sick child when you simply have none to give. and you watch him walk away empty-handed, wondering about the fate of his only child. Or maybe you need the medicine, because your key scavenger, the man who risked his life for this medicine, is sick, and your whole group will starve if he can't get back out in the field. The survival of your loved ones, the people who risked everything for you, coming before the well-being of just another embattled stranger. As far as the systems of the game are concerned, there are only two binary outcomes. Either you give the guy the medicine or you don't. What makes this War of Mine so unique and impactful is that it frames the narrative context to make why you helped or didn't help matter just as much as if you helped. You see, I knew that behind Marin's seemingly cold refusal to provide medicine lay a complex emotional struggle between risking the lives of everyone who depends on each other to save a stranger's child, or condemning this child to a slow death to guarantee that we don't see the same fate anytime soon. I knew the burden this struggle represented, even if the game did not clearly define it. And that's the incredible trick of this game. It plants the seeds of empathy and gives you the tools to make and govern decisions, but you'll need to fill in the cracks yourself. There's no rich backstory about the war or even the city. You just won't find that here. Instead, it gives broad, sweeping postulations about character and personality and setting, and it puts you in the situation to care about them, to make them real and whole in the unenviable position that they've found themselves in. In games like The Last of Us or Bioshock Infinite, the characters come to us pretty much fully realized. These games want to make a story and an experience for the player, and provide characters as driving forces. In this War of Mine, the characters exist in your head even more than they do on screen. It gives you a real connection with them. This War of Mine wants to create a story with the player, and provide you the space to make that experience as rich and fully realized as you could want. But why should anyone care? Why does it matter? Twitch-based, high-action players will rock their Hotline Miami, popping psychotics medication between every scene of violence, while contemplative, methodical players will elegantly appreciate this War of Mine while sipping sherry with their pinky held high, and never the twain shall meet. But what connects these two games, what makes them so powerful, what is so important about them, is that the experience you have is something only video games can provide. They're not just movies with a couple of tests involved like The Last of Us or every Final Fantasy game ever, and they're not just shiny time wasters like Angry Birds or Diablo. They involve every aspect of what a video game is to provide something only a video game can. And not in that Skinner boxing or time-based wallet opener kind of way we see all too often. You can't cover your eyes and just wait for Bruce Willis to kill all the bad guys for you. You can't wait for Morgan Freeman to rationalize some character's selfishness until you feel okay about it. You are responsible for the well-being of these people, and only you can give that to them. That is something you simply cannot experience through film or literature. It's truly unique in not only art, but life as well. That's what makes these experiences important. That is what makes games, for all the brown space marines, Farmville extortion rackets, and Diablo click button receive reward tedium, really worth fighting for.